Let's do it. Let's go. What is happening, guys? Welcome to the Thursday before. It is Thursday 21/27. There's still European games happening right now, but I couldn't be bothered waiting until they're finished because I really want to talk about FPL and I really want to just go through everything that's happening. We've got loads of fixtures to look at, specifically what's happening with the relegation teams. I also want to have a look at just basic replacement ideas. Obviously, we're getting into the blanks. We're getting into the fact that Son died and loads of teams are looking like their fixtures are swinging. So I wanted to look at specifically midfielders we can sink our teeth into, as well as cheap defensive assets that I've been looking at. And then on top of that, Tim Bayer, our very good friend who I use all his stuff all the time. He writes amazing programs. He has dropped a form thing, and I want to look at that as well. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, no, mostly on the relegation stuff. So let's just go right into it. I haven't just streamed just myself in ages. I feel like James is always here, but it's nice to just have a break from James. No, we love him, and I really do miss him. He's I think he's getting pissed right now as we speak in the pub watching the games. But we'll have a guest next week to sort out his replacement just until he gets back. But it's nice to just kind of chat with you guys, one-to-one. How is everyone doing? Irons is here, Daffs is here, Dynamic Skills, Claters, haven't seen you in ages, man. Thank you for showing up. Liam Healy's here, of course. Roz here as well. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Let's look at my team. Let's do that. Seems like a good idea. So game week 26 just finished. We don't have to talk about that shit. Lasted ages. I know. I get it. We get it. Lasted a long time. The joke has been made. Game week 27 is like 2 days away. So I wanted to have a look at exactly what I'm going to be doing, and get people's opinions on it, and just tell people what I'm thinking about. And really what I'm thinking about is how I can utilize the relegation battle, and what does it actually mean, and who should I be looking at from those teams, if any. Because James asked me a question on Fantasy Weekly and I didn't really know how to answer it. I was kind of like, he was like, firstly, are they in a relegation battle, and what does that mean for points, and what would you do? And I had a little bit of an answer ready, but I didn't really know exactly how I was gonna do it, and I hadn't really done enough research. So that annoyed me, the fact that I didn't know the answer. So I did the research. So yeah, a few things before we actually get started. Number one, thank you everyone who did the Slack thing. I asked for loads of people to come and test it out for me, and too many people asked, like, too quickly. Holly was upset I didn't even give her an invite, but there's so many people, and I only wanted like 10, and I actually let in like 15 because there was so many people who wanted to, which was really awesome. It's gonna go live on Sunday, and it's gonna be great. Also, me and Flapjack, now I'm not telling them, Flapjack, if you're watching, don't worry, I'm not gonna tell anyone, but we have a super awesome stream idea thing that is coming very soon, and that's exciting, and that's just a teaser for you. We've got big guests, and it's just gonna be fun. This is gonna be good. I'm not gonna this is a teaser, so like stay tuned for that shit. And that's it. No more announcements. How are you guys doing? How was your week? Captain Aguero didn't really work out, but swings and roundabouts. I had a pretty good game. We got a green arrow. What about you guys? Jimmy says, where's your invite with the Slack channel? Slack channel will be live on Sunday, and I'm gonna get everyone to join then. I just needed some time I've never used Slack before, so I needed to have a look to see what's going on. Yeah, it's been a very hectic start to the year. I bet, Claters. I bet. you haven't been in the stream chat for like 3 months. You have had one hectic year, my friend. No, but it's great to have you here. And Liam is very excited, not only the Slack channel, which you've been super active about, but also this little, me and Flapjack doing some crazy stuff behind the scenes. It's going to be amazing. So it was actually funny. We're talking about Aguero just there. In the Slack channel, we were chatting about what we think, who's going to start, blah, blah, blah. And then someone came up with like, guess the minutes for Aguero. And I was like, he's going to play 90. And then everyone was like, 30 minutes. Fucking James said 3 minutes, the twat. Tongue in his own arsehole. A couple of people said like 60, 70, 80. I was like, nah, he's not getting subbed. He needs time. He needs game minute. Anyone who's played Football Manager, you know, if they've been off for a while, they need to play the game. Although I captained him, and I offered anyone who won this little minute thing a shout out on the stream, I was the only one that said 90 minutes. So I actually won the Aguero thing. So, you know, the silver lining of captaining Aguero was at least I won my own Slack thing. So I bought myself a chocolate bar at lunchtime, and that was the winner. That was what I did. And I'll shout myself out. Well done, FPL Dave. So yeah, the Slack channel is a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a cool place to hang out, but it's actually like I'm learning shit. Everyone is so knowledgeable on that thing. Like more than me. You guys should all start your own channels. So I'm quite excited for everyone to see it. It's going to be really good. Points last week. Yes, let's look at that. Points shit. 62 points. Rubbish game week rank. But I think everyone had a bad game week, it seems like. And my game week history. 3 green arrows on the bounce. Not a very big one, mind you, from last week, but we're doing okay with a Captain Blank. If Aguero had smashed, if Aguero had got like 3 goals, I probably would be in the top 500k. The problem was when I captained him, I thought he was playing like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, whatever you want. But unfortunately, he took a break, and there's the momentum just completely dies. So on paper, anyone who captained anyone on City, it was a good idea. It just didn't come to fruition, but that's okay. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, you're right. Like, don't worry about it. Send in hugs," and because I thought I was gonna be raging, but it was the correct decision. I knew Salah was playing after the break. I didn't think that they were gonna do that well. They don't tend to do well after break, so it was a good decision. But I'm not here to moan. I'll moan on Twitter. That's fine. What I wanted to talk to you guys about was the options that I've got. So Jimmy's like, 700k is cute. I'm rank about 200k and took a tiny red arrow. All right, fine. Yeah, there are 700,000 people that are doing better than me right now. That's true. Liam's still in the top, 700k at 58 points. He only wish he would have captained Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, no, everyone does. Damn. Unless you captain Pepe. I seen someone captain Maguire to win this week. That's mental patter. Mental patter. I don't like that. I don't like seeing the person who won. I could even show you it. I think, how do you see who the best person was? Do you go to I don't even remember how to do it. You can like see the best team from the week. Daft says Wolves are bossing it. Yeah, I just seen Ruben Neves' goal. It was mental. You go to points, and then you go to Dream Team. Is this the one? No, that's just of the week. Points, and then highest points. Here we go. This is the one. Oh no, it's not. This is not the best team, because I actually seen it on Fantasy Football's Twitter. We'll find out. See, this is a fine team. I like this. The bench boost is a bit weird, but I like that they've done that. See, this is a normal team. Pretty decent. Overall rank 1 million, but smashing it. Must have went up. Let's look at his 2 million to 1 million in one game week. With a team points like that, like, yeah, he had 2 game weeks in one. That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so quickly, before we get onto the bulk of this stream, which is definitely going to be about the relegation battle, I just wanted to quickly go over what I'm probably going to be doing this week. So I originally had thought I'm going to get rid of Aguero, and I'm going to get rid of Stevens, and that gives me a lot of money in the bank. So if I play Vardy, who I really do want to get, then it means that I've got 7.7 million to upgrade a defender. If I go for, say, Dockery, who I've got on my watch list, that means I can upgrade Hayden to Barnes, or just thereabouts, depending on if someone goes down again. But I actually can do it just and no more if I get Bolly instead and I don't punt on Doherty. And it means I could actually keep Aguero like this. And if I keep Aguero, he might have a double game week. Now I did really want to keep Aubameyang for his fixtures though. But the problem is he's playing on the wing, and that's 2 games in a row. So he played on the wing against Newcastle and got a goal and 8 points, and that's awesome. But I feel lucky based on watching that. He was playing the same position as Saka, and Saka looked way better. The second thing to note is that, or the second game that he played on the wing, is tonight. Like Thursday. He's playing in the Europa League, and he's playing on the wing as well. So that kind of sucks, because he's not going to be in the box that much. He's not going to be taking as many shots as he was. And despite what you think with him cutting inside and all that stuff, they weren't aiming for him. I mean, he got on the header, and that's fine and awesome, and I love that shit. And I owned him, and I was like, yes, please do that more. But every time you're watching them chuck balls into the box, or anytime they're running along, he's not there. He was never the first in the box anymore. And that's where you want him to be. Lacazette was doing it. The other young dude was doing it, but he wasn't, and that's why I bought him. I don't want to pay 10.8 million for maybe a goal a game. That's not why you spend that much money. So I could use the money and do a lot with it. Aguero, on the other hand, lots of shots, unlucky not to score, but might have a double game week, and it doesn't matter where their fixtures are. So Man United is a weird one, game week 29, and then a Burnley game, that's fine. But Man United and a Chelsea, like, I'd take a double game week no matter who it was that they were playing, and then keeping them for Burnley is a good idea. But you obviously have to take into consideration, will he actually play? Is he going to be playing? Is he going to be playing Jesus? Who's going to be playing the Champions League? What's going to be happening with this Champions League ban? All that stuff is coming. So the good thing right now is that I don't actually have to worry about that and who I'm going to be getting. Because in both scenarios, I'm getting Barnes and I'm getting Bolly. So I don't really need to worry about who I'm getting rid of right now. Barnes has a really shit fixture next week against Man City, of course. So I'm not going to get him this week. But I have 2 free transfers, and I could just use 1. So I can just get Bolly. Bolly's playing Norwich at home. Is it one of the best, one of the best fixtures for a defender? So it makes sense to get him in immediately and play him. He's not blanking, gets rid of one of my blankers, and then I can wait till next week to use my 2 free transfers and deal with Aubameyang and Hayden. I'm pretty set on getting Vardy though, and we'll get into that with Tim Byer's new little tracker thing, his new form tracker. It's just a picture right now, but I'm sure he's going to probably announce it or release it, and then we can actually sink our teeth into it. It's going to be amazing. And shout out to FBL Shiny, who showed us in the Slack channel. See, gotta plug that. Plug. You sort of answered on Fantasy Weekly. You sort of answered it on Fantasy Weekly, but if you had Salah and Mane, who would you captain? It says Daffs. For me, it depends on, like, the only reason I've captained Salah when I had both of them was because Salah was less owned, so I did that. Obviously, Mane is better away, kinda, but Disabled on Twitter, who is, oh no, I forgot his real name. Is it Luke? No, it's one of the guys from Fantasy Football Scout. Anyway, he made a really, really good point in that last year it was the other way around. Like, it sometimes correlations happen that don't actually mean anything. I think it's like sumptuous correlations or something like that, or fortuitous correlations. I've seen it on QI where, like, the rate of suicides goes up as the rate of bouncy balls are sold. You know, like, something that it works on paper, it looks like they're correlated, but they're actually not. And he said that could be possible with this Mane Salah form for home and away. If it happens over a sustained period of time, like 4 years, seasons where Mane's scoring a lot away from home, then awesome. He loves playing away, but it's just this season. So therefore, there's not really much in it. So you can't really take that as a gospel truth. And really all you've got going for you is form, penalty taker, and ownership. And for me, as 700k, it's easy just to pick Salah because he's less owned. Not anymore though, obviously, but back in the day he was. Now it's the other way around, right? Salah's up 45% owned, and Mane's at 21% owned. So at this point in time, I'd probably captain Mane, just because it's the exact same thing, just swapped about. But that's one of the reasons why I don't have both. I could go for both. I could get them. I've got enough transfers. I could do it. I might take a hit if I wanted to do it before game week 28. But it's not really in the cards for my team. It would take too long. I would quite like them. For me, it's a differential if you have both, and it's safe if you have two defenders. But either way, you need at least one of those options. Or you could do what Ben Dinnery does, and he's got Salah, Mane, and Firmino, which is like 35 million because he's a twat. Oh, I hope it pays off. I really do. Ben, if you're watching, man, like, it's so funny. You're such an idiot. Oh, right. Liam asks if Alba is less rotation risk now. Yes, but I don't care if he's getting rotated or not. Or sorry, I don't care if he's less of a rotation risk if he's not in the box as much. And if you look at his heat map, which I could show you guys right now, actually, his heat map was rubbish. Premier League, go back, go to Arsenal, go to heat map, and then Aubameyang. So that's not great. That's not great at all. That's just compared to Nikita, who was kind of in and around the box mostly, and whereas Aubameyang kind of just stayed in this little bit here. Now, he did venture in the box, obviously, but that's not what you want. It's just not what you want at all. You want to be like Joe Linton. Just kidding. You don't. But yeah, so at 10.7 million or whatever for this as a striker, not a good idea, no matter if he's getting rotated or not. So I'll find out what I'm going to be doing. Wolves are 4-0 up. Jota hat-trick. Wow. Arsenal 1-0 up. Laka goal, Saka assist. Saka is reverse OOP. See, if he was a defender, we'd all be getting him. I think. He's just like... He's like Lundstrom, but actually attacking. So that's an obvious problem. Magic, says Flapjack. What does that mean? Flapjack, what does magic mean? You can just come in the stream and say magic. Piss off FPL, says Daffs. Oh no. KWP injured. Oh no. Oh yeah, we heard about that. Hassan Hall said that KWP's sustained a little bit of an injury. We need Ben Dinnery on the pod. He is on the pod. Ben Dinnery. I'm loving Ben Dinnery. The podcast is actually doing so well. Like, I miss Mark. Definitely, I really like having him, but having Ben on is really, really fun, like insightful. I can just say to him, mate, what's happening with X player, and he's like, oh, blah 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 blah, and you're like, nice one. He's really useful to have around. So I like him. I'm really enjoying the pod, and on top of that, I've actually been given the producer job. So now I edit the stream. Or edit the podcast, put all the little bits that bobs together, made the intro and stuff. It was really, really fun, and I think it's going places. So I'm really, really proud of the podcast. If you guys listen to this week, my first ever week editing a podcast, and I know there's a few things that I didn't quite do correctly, but we'll do that next week. This week was just a get out the door. No, I'm kidding, but it's going. We're going good. Can you change the music? Just now, this music, I can skip it for you, mate. There you go. Bam. This is free music that won't get flagged on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's generic dance. So my plans, yes, get Bolly in. Oh, on the pod. I could change the music on the pod. Get your team off the screen. It's pissing me off. It's too good. Aw, Irons. Thank you, mate. That's lovely of you to say. Yeah, so Hayden out. Remove that player. Barnes. This is what is going to be my team for the blank. And then it's Aguero and De Bruyne. And who else was it? Oh, and Egan. That's my bench, those three guys. And then that means I don't have Aguero and De Bruyne if there is a double game week 29. And I will probably keep them for the Burnley game as well, game week 30. And if Aguero doesn't play, then whatever, because I'm going to have Traore as my first bencher, I think, for most of the time as well. So he's pretty decent. Jimmy thinks it's a horrific team. Yeah, there's good things about it. There's bad things about it. We'll see. I think Iron's he loves me. I love him too. Right, let's move on. Here is the Premier League table. Tell me what's wrong with it. What is wrong with the table in front of me? I'll give you some time. It's a good time to say, if you're new here and you haven't came before, you can follow the stream. The stream will email you when I'm live, and at 300 followers, I'm going to bring a nice cool guest on, and we're going to have a fun drinking stream or some shit. It'll probably be FPL General, but I'm not sure. I haven't asked him yet. So yeah, nice wee follow would be lovely. Huddersfield, last season. Correct. It's Raw. Daffs. I don't want to see the current table, Jimmy says. You aren't looking at the current table. You were looking at last year's table. So I wanted to highlight this because it's really, really good just as a collective view to see what happens. West Ham should be higher. We play Snoddy up top. Well, West Ham did okay last season. They finished 10th, right? But this is last season's final placings. Huddersfield down there, Cardiff and Fulham, right? But Brighton, Southampton and Burnley stayed up with the skin in their teeth, and we're going to have a look and see why. Well, Burnley they did okay, right? 40 points, that's fine. But yeah, I wanted to look and see what a relegation scrap does to a team. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to have a look into it. So Brighton, actually, before we go into that, I'm just going to quickly look at the fixtures as we play now. So, because obviously we're going to be looking at teams like Watford, like Norwich, all those guys that are at the bottom, Aston Villa, and what it means if they have bad fixtures, good fixtures, and what happens. So those are the teams that we're going to be looking at until the end of the season, let's say after game week 31, because we're probably not going to bring these players in till after the blanks, right? We've all got a blank plan, we've all got things that we want to do, so let's look after the blanks. We'll see what these fixtures have. So for West Ham, who might be going down, not 100%, but they're pretty down there. They've got really good fixtures, so they've got really decent ones. They're playing Norwich, they're playing Watford, they're playing Aston Villa. These are going to be huge games, right? On the other side, Aston Villa, very poor games, right? Newcastle, very poor games. Norwich, not the best. Watford, middle of the road, a little bit okay, I think, because most of their teams that they're playing, Southampton, Norwich, Newcastle, they're all at home, so that's an advantage for them. So those are the teams, those are the things we're going to be looking at, right? Brighton were shit at the end of last season. They had decent fixtures and still didn't win any games. Great point. So let's have a look. Wasn't it Ben Dinnery with Snodgrass in their team? Yes, Ben had Snoddy. Will Sarr be back? So that's a good point, actually. We're not going to be looking too into whether injuries are happening or not happening. Key things is really hard, and so many things happen in football. On the pitch injuries, off the pitch injuries, training things, fixture slumps, depression in players. Like, we can't just go into every single little anomaly that might throw something off. So we can only look at the facts and what we've got in front of us. So this is Brighton's thing in front of us. You can see here for the last 5 or so games, they were in table position 17. This is transfermarket.com, by the way, .co.uk, sorry, if you want to have a look yourself. So game week 31 is what we're looking at for this season. So let's just look at game week 32 onwards. Okay, so they lost, then they lost, then they lost, then they drew, then they drew, then they drew, then they lost. And we can go down here and we can see that. So from game week 32, 4 losses, 3 draws, 1 clean sheet. 1 clean sheet. Right, next team, Burnley. Since game week 32, they had 3 wins, decent. 3 losses, last 3 games of the season, and 1 draw. But bear in mind that was Chelsea, Man City, Everton, and Arsenal. So that's a really hard. So they had to win the Wolves game, the Bournemouth game, the Cardiff game. They had to win those, and they did, and they got 2 clean sheets. Whereas Brighton's games were Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Wolves, Bournemouth, and Spurs. So Spurs game they lost. And Southampton. Sorry. So Southampton, they would have been trying really hard to get that because Southampton was another team that were a relegation battle. But you can see here that at the end of the season, they just kind of died, both of them, right? There you go, and there you go. And then Southampton, on top of that, we have game week 32 is Brighton. There's a win, loss, win, loss, or loss, draw. 1 clean sheet. So of those 3 teams that didn't go down, there were 4 clean sheets total in the last 6 games. 4. So right off the bat, if there's a relegation battle, you are probably not going. So number 1 we can take from this data is that there's probably not going to be many clean sheets. There's going to be a fair amount of high-scoring games. So there's a 3-3 there, a 3-1, a 3-1, a 3-0 for Southampton. Then you had a 2 each, a 3-1, a 2-0, a 3-1 there again. Some anomaly outliers, that's fine. Man City, that's weird, 1-0. Brighton, 5-0 against Bournemouth, 4-1 against Man City, a bunch of draws. So Brighton actually did well to stay as an outlier on that. All this screams buy Grealish because he won't care about defending. Big Luke says, after the blank that is. Yes, great shout. So we all remember the players from last year that we liked from these teams, right? That's fine. Southampton was a bit of a no-go, but Redmond's still doing okay. Brighton, we all got their defenders in. That didn't really work out too well. That was a very strange thing that we all did, but we did it. And it didn't go too well. And then Burnley was kind of the same, really mostly defenders. We didn't go too far into their attacking assets. But for this season, there are a lot of good attacking assets on the teams that we're looking into. Aston Villa. We've got Grealish, obviously. As said on the Fantasy Football Scout, it's Grealish FC, really, isn't it? You've got from West Ham, they've got a plethora of good attackers. I'm not going to say Snodgrass is a good attacker, but he's been doing okay. They've got Felipe Anderson, of course. Watford have Decore. Norwich have Pookie, Cantwell. All these players, there's going to be goals scored. There is no games here except for 1, I'm pretty sure. 1 game out of all those from these 3 teams that we're looking at that had 0 goals scored. There are going to be so many goals. So relegation battle means a fair amount of draws, actually. A fair amount of draws, but scoring draws. There's not going to be many clean sheets, so we're not going to be looking there. And they're going to be going all out. There's no place where it was kind of like an iffy game unless it was against someone that was either... it's kind of weird how many big teams kind of didn't do very well. Spurs only scored 1 goal and a 1-0 win. Arsenal drew. Man City, again, over here, did 1-0. That's weird. And then Southampton had one as well. Where is it? Oh, I thought that was a Spurs game. 1-1. Okay, cool. It wasn't. It was against Watford. So I was kind of poring over this data, and immediately, obviously, you see the defense thing. But it's interesting that there's no nil-nils. They're not going out to look for this weird, like, you know what, that's fine. We'll just get a draw. We'll sit back. None of these teams are sitting back. So if we look at the fixtures again, Watford, Decore, Deeney, decent shouts. Aston Villa, Grealish, of course. Grealish, I think, is going to be one of the better players to have. They've got Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Everton, Arsenal, West Ham. I don't think those games are bad at all. I'd probably only get him game week 34, but we'll see how the doubles lie, because obviously that matters. Where is Norwich? Norwich have decent fixtures. for game week 33 onwards. I think Manchester City is kind of an anomaly there. You don't really need them. You could get rid of them for game week 38, but there's a few there. Brighton, Watford, West Ham, Burnley, even Chelsea away is not the worst game. So I think Pookie is going to be a decent shout. I know Flapjack loves him and is planning on getting him very soon. So yeah, I think Norwich is a good one to own. Now, obviously Norwich are probably going down, but what do they have left to fight? I mean, Pookie has an opportunity to be bought by someone else, right? We all thought about getting Babel last season, which is a hilarious timing to announce Babel, because of his little rollabout he had today. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. Arsenal have been defending solid with Arteta. They've been doing better, definitely doing better. 100% agree with you. But it's not like they played against Newcastle, and Newcastle don't really have a striker. But they have kept 2 clean sheets, I think. Pookie aren't dead yet, Dave. True. Definitely true. I'm not saying that they're absolutely 100% going down, but it's likely that they'll go down. So, and even if they are relegated before, like Huddersfield was, they're still fighting. Huddersfield were still fighting to the end. There was still a lot of points to be had, and a lot of showing off why you should be in the Premier League, even if the team's not. So just think of let's look at the Premier League table as of this right now. It's a good point to look at. Not all seasons, fuck's sake. That'd be mental. So 18, then Watford on 24, West Ham 24, 25, Bournemouth 26, Brighton 27, Crystal Palace are probably okay on 30, but they're not out of it 100% yet. So yeah, best asset Norwich, Pookie, best asset Watford, probably Decore, West Ham's best asset. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm not sure. It's probably not going to be LR, unfortunately. But there probably will be someone in the next couple of weeks that we can look at. I actually think Snodgrass is a good shout. You have a weird feeling Norwich are going to survive, get close to survival. I would love that. That'd be amazing. But yeah, It's Ross agrees with that. Snodgrass, definitely a shout. Especially if he's going to be playing up front. That's an out-of-position player. In a West Ham scrap. Let's look at West Ham's fixtures. Where are they? Yeah, West Ham actually have the best fixtures for any of these teams. In the last, from Game Week 32 onwards, they have the best fixtures. Other than Manchester United, which is really tasty for someone who's in a relegation battle. Really, really good. Bournemouth. I think Callum Wilson is a shout. Bournemouth have the worst fixtures of any team. Iron says we don't have a best asset. They're all shite. Aye, but who is the best of the shit assets? Who is the least smelliest shite? Filtering understat last few games of last season, I noticed Man United were very near the bottom and Fulham were top half, strange as they were already gone. Ben, FPL, Mr. Shiny, coming in hot with the facts. Yes, great point. There is teams that are safe but not hitting anything. They tend to just kind of like, they just go with the flow. They're on par. Fulham near the top just shows you that even though they're gone, like you said, they're definitely still fighting. So I don't think that just because they're at the bottom going out, the Pookie's not a good asset or anything like that. Bournemouth going down would be amazing. I reckon that if they're going to do anything, they need to do it now. They just had one of their best fixture runs ever, and they fucked it so hard. So I probably won't want to bring in any Bournemouth, but they are an option. Wilson, maybe Fraser, maybe the other Wilson, but that's about it. Don't really like them. Aston Villa, Grealish, of course. I don't think there's anyone else in Aston Villa that you need. And for sure Grealish has to stay in the Premier League even if they don't. I can't see him not. Brighton, Old Man Murray maybe coming back. Mapai, I think Moy or Mui. Fucking Mui, innit? I bet it is Mui and you're all just lying to me. You heard it one person say Moy and that's it. I wonder how he says his fucking last name. It's Mui. Is a decent cheap option. They've also got A few other midfielders that are decent. I don't know who's playing Mapai or Old Man Murray, but a striker from that team would be good as well. Brighton's fixtures, let's have a look at them. Not the best. Maybe the last 3 game weeks of the season would be the best time to get them. And last but not least, Crystal Palace. I think they're safe. But let's look at their fixtures anyway. Yeah, shite. Leicester, Chelsea, Manchester United, Wolves, Tottenham. The only good one is Aston Villa. You know what? That is not many places to get 3 points for Crystal Palace. Maybe they're not as safe as we think. But I can't think of a single person I would want. I know that everyone shouts for Zaha, but to be honest, he's been absolutely shocking. RIP anyone who brought him in. So yeah. The conclusion is no defenders. No defenders. So we don't want any defenders from Norwich, Watford, West Ham, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, or Brighton. No defenders. I know everyone has thoughts of getting a Brighton defender. Everyone who still has Rico. Aston Villa, do they have anyone that people have in their team? I don't think so. West Ham, no. Watford, I think maybe 1 or 2 people might have went for Watford defenders. And definitely not anyone from Norwich, obviously. Maybe Krul, but I don't know. He can't save a penalty every game. So yeah, no defenders. Rule number 1, relegation battle. No defenders. Rule number 2, it doesn't matter where they are in the relegation battle. They are going to try really hard every game. And they are not going to sit back. It's very rare that you see just 1 or 2 goals in a game. Thirdly, is that you want the talisman. You want the best player. Don't cheap out and get fucking I don't know, anyone who isn't Grealish, right? I can't think of a single player. Just Grealish, right? Don't cheap out. If you're gonna go for an Aston Villa player or a Norwich player, don't just get Cantwell. If you're gonna go for a Norwich player, right, get Pookie. Just get them, because you make that decision. You're gonna pinpoint them as a relegation battle. Just get 1 or 2 from these guys and move on. But don't actually like cheap out, because you're already cheaping out. It's already a punt. You might as well give yourself the best chance. And rule 3, you can't just get them, have them for 2 games, and then get rid of them. The whole point is it's a relegation battle over 6 game weeks at least. So they'll come good if you pick the right player, as in the talisman, and they should come good, right? So if you're going to give yourself the best chance, give them time and pick their best player. Who's going down then, Dave, after looking at the fixtures of Tech? Moy will score soon, Dave. Mapai is a troll. Scott Parker came in for Fulham, didn't he? The players tried hard for him, so he got the job permanently. That's true, I do remember that. FPL JL's here. Hey Dave, just been watching Wolves match tonight. Double, even, triple up. Got to be considered. They are fire at the moment. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be tripling up on them because of the blanks, but they are in good form, which helps with that. The problem is obviously their rest. They don't get rests, but I don't think that matters too much for defense, and that's who I'm thinking about bringing in, so it should be okay. Who do I think is going down? I think Norwich will go down. I think Bournemouth will go down. Who else? I think it'll be Aston Villa, but I hope they don't. I really hope they don't, but I think it's going to be Aston Villa. I think West Ham will probably save themselves. Watford have good fixtures, at least enough to give themselves a good chance in the last couple of games. And West Ham, they have really good fixtures, so unless they completely fuck it between now and game week 32, which they could, by the way, because they have bad fixtures, but yeah, I think they'll be okay. Alright, let's move on. Let's do it. So this is Tim Byers' thing that we've been using all stream, every stream, no matter what. There's this lovely little face, and he tweeted this today. Thanks, Ben, for shouting this out. Oh, dynamic skills, Alba out for Jimenez. Yes, good idea. If you don't have Aubameyang and you need one of the Wolves guys, I like that. You agree safer options are defense, but don't think they'll rotate their attackers too much either. For Wolves, yeah, no, I don't think there's going to be much rotation. They don't have a very big squad. I know there's a few more midfielders now, but in terms of like strikers, I don't think they can get rid of Jimenez. They can't afford not to play him. He's their best player, and then Traore as well. So I like that. Here's one of my recent projects. Tim says the FPL form and fixture guide. Lots of credit to this dude who used the technique. I wanted to learn how it works and use some of the data. The form is XG plus XA. Note that is excluding penalties, and then the fixtures is the same fixtures that he uses for this guy. To figure out who the hardest fixtures are. Where did it go? The thing we've been using. So the same source that he gets this data for these guys is the same one that he's used for this. So let's look into this actual picture. It's really, really, really cool. And I can't wait. I've tweeted him saying, when do we have a look at it? And it's Twitter only for now. With a wee winky face. With a winky face, lads. Look at that, the cheeky bugger. But I want to play. I want to play with it. I want to look into it a lot more. Because what is this dot here? What is this dot here? Who are these players? I want to know who these players are. So yeah, let's look at it. He's got a little buy section here. And he's highlighted Salah's non-penalty GA. He's got the fixtures over form, fixture difficulty going from worst to best. Penalties excluded, XG and XA, form versus fixtures, and fixtures versus form over this way. You can clearly see over here that the fixtures aren't the best for City players. De Bruyne, Sterling, Mahrez, Jesus, Aguero. On the right hand side, exact opposite. Ings, Redmond, Ward-Prowse. These guys all have great fixtures and are worth looking into. I know Redmond's injured right now, which is bad, but Ings is not a differential anymore. He's got like, I don't know, he's in my team, hold on, 31% owned. That's loads. But having a second player, attacking player from their team, they're in form right now. So Ward-Prowse is a great shout. Jimenez makes it into this little square thing, this little bisection. So who was it that said someone for Jimenez? Jimenez is in form, non-penalty, XGA is great, enough to be one of the best players, the best player that isn't on Liverpool in this whole thing. Aubameyang's up there, Vardy, Barnes, Pepe's managed to get in there, Trent's there, Traore, and then below that we've got Robertson, Fleck, Moutinho, which is interesting for anyone who's looking for a differential that doesn't have Traore money. Moutinho seems to be okay, and a fair few people shouting them out. You notice that Wolves are kind of on this side because their fixtures are fucking incredible. If anyone hasn't looked at their fixtures yet. Traore 60 minutes, Jimenez 74 minutes. That's what we like to see, baby. Thank you very much. Wolves have the best fixtures going forward, 10 game weeks between game week 27 and game week 36. Lovely fixtures. And Tottenham with no striker, I would say that's a lot easier than what this is making out to be. So definitely worth considering. Anyone who's worried about tripling up on them because of what happened last year, you'll be fine. And this kind of proves that they're in form as well, being here. A little bit more fixtures in form for them, but that's fine. Along this side, Abraham's here and Pulisic. Now, I don't like that. And he's actually got here injury concern or rotation risk, which is less than 65 minutes per appearance. So Pulisic there. Son injured. Wood is a worry there as well. Is Wood injured? That's interesting. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he's injured. Maybe he just doesn't have that many minutes per appearance. But anyway, he seems to be a good shout. Is Ali and Lucas an option now? Says Calm. What is happening, Calm? It must be like 6 a.m. where you're from. Calm is Australian. He sent a picture on the Slack. He was like out on a night out and he went out for a fag or something. And there was just like hundreds of beetles. Of course, the Australian guy in Slack shows just fucking things that could kill you. Oh, I went out. I was on a night out. Snap. Wood is actually injured. Right, let's do it. Where do we go for injury news? Scout. Actually, maybe I should go on Ben Dinnery's thing from now on. Show him some love. But old habits die hard. Let's use this. Wood. Chris Wood, hamstring injury against Southampton. Oh yeah, shit, he did, didn't he? It was like 3 minutes after the fucking amazing Ings goal. Ings or Jimenez? Ings, definitely. Irish in Oz, who's now Australian. I didn't know you were Irish, Colm. That is a joke. That's a joke because of his name. What's happening, Lucas Davids? Welcome to the stream, buddy. Appreciate you joining. Yeah, so Wood is injured. Oh, see Tim Byron, coming again. Rated touch and go for the Bournemouth match on the 22nd has only worked with the physios as of the 20th. What is the source on that? Actually, Burnley. Burnley is the source. Okay, not bad. Barnes is here, but I think that is obviously the Leicester Barnes. And then at the bottom, I have no idea who these people are, and that's why I want to click it. Calvert-Lewin's there, more form than fixtures, which we knew. So this is what I was talking about when I tweeted saying we're going to look at the form hunting, right? So these players over on this side is kind of Ali's there, Mapai's there, Pookie's there. I think actually that's probably more of the bottom place. So Pookie just kind of makes it. Ali's there. In terms of Son replacements, if you listen to Planet FPL, those guys were talking about it, and he said to stay away from Spurs altogether, but if he had to pick one, he would probably pick Ali. But the obvious problem with picking Ali is that he's the highest priced one, and there's good players in each price bracket, so one for everyone. But it's a bit of an issue, so he says to just kind of stay away. Fernandez I can't see on this fixture list, but the problem with Fernandez that I have is, of course, this whole, in the next 6 game weeks, I think Manchester United have the worst fixtures. Where are they? Not the worst. I think that may have been from plus last episode or last game week. They've moved up to 4th worst. Watford fine, but then Everton, Man City, Tottenham, Sheffield United, Brighton. I think Sheffield United's probably harder than Tottenham, if I'm going to be honest. Everton are like a wild card, and I don't really know how to rate them. Watford home, that's probably correct at 69. Giggity. And then Brighton, 72. They're saying that Watford at home is easier than Brighton away. Don't know about that right now. And then obviously Man City's damn difficult, but it's a derby, so we don't know really what's going on. It's 8 a.m. in QLD, back to Perth this evening at work doing a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. So yeah, this is my problem with Fernandez. If we go to the transfer page and just click, I'll go into stat mode, you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And you look at the actual midfielders that you can get for Son money. So 10 million and less, right? Sane, no. Pepe, blanking, so probably not. But after the blank, he might be an option. But you're kind of bringing him in for 2 weeks. And if you're not free hitting, then you might need to get rid of him again. So the only way you could get Pepe is if you are free hitting in game week 31. Which kind of sucks. Mahrez, again, probably same thing, but not as good fixtures. Ali's there. That's probably why Ali is being seen as like the best thing, because if you go down, it's no blanking, no. He's the first viable option, so that's probably why he's mostly well known. Colm says Fernandez is a trap. I think he played really well. He played really well. Could have scored. He's on corners. His set pieces are amazing. His dead ball free kick off the post was hard to stomach for owners. Must have been gutted. And they've got Watford at home coming up next. But it's these I want them for. I want them to get a good double fixture against maybe Sheffield and Southampton or something, and go for him then. And then from there on to the end of the season, I think he'd be a good run anyway. So to bring him in as someone with no wild card, I think that's a really good shout. It's just to bring him in for the double and keep him. I like that. Liam says, it's been a pleasure as always. Off to bed, work early in the morning. We'll catch the rest of the stream tomorrow on YouTube. Have a good one, lad. Thanks very much, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, Liam. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Sorry, just reading the stream there. Back. All right. That was weird. It was like I lagged in real life there. Did I make a mistake selling DCL for Jimmy? No, you didn't. Because DCL, if we look at what Tim Beyer was talking about, is way over here in the... He's got good form, but not good fixtures. And he's not got the best form to be keeping. Whereas Jimenez makes it in this little square. He's got great fixtures. And he's got decent XGA. It's only his form that is not as good as Calvert-Lewin. It's actually on the same, probably on the same page, right? His form is probably the same, if I'm reading this correctly. So I think he's a decent upgrade. Anyone from here up this way is a good upgrade. Unless they're grayed out like that, like Abraham. So yes, brilliant choice. Richarlison is the second person you come to in this list that you can't see because I've moved my fucking head in front of it. So if you go down, first option is Pepe. Oh, he's not even an option, sorry. First option is Ali. Pepe, blank. Like we said, blank, injured, option, Ali. Then injured Pogba, then option Richarlison. And a lot of people are saying, oh, what about Richarlison? He's been playing well. He's got a 13. And a blank, and a blank, and a blank, and a 10, then a 7, then a 6, then a blank, then a blank. Like, he's taking over, I guess. But then the fixtures come, and you're like, oh, fuck that. So I think it's just, these players seem to be casual picks more than anything else. Fernandez is the only real, like, good player, I think. But obviously, again, the fixtures aren't the greatest. So what I would do is actually bring in Maddison or Barnes and spend the money elsewhere. I prefer Barnes to Maddison anyway, but just in terms of Leicester's fixtures are amazing. Like, those are the best teams that you could be playing right now. Excuse me, Norwich, Aston Villa, Watford, Brighton. And the fact that they've been in a slump and not been playing well makes me want them more. I'm going to show you, I probably won't be able to find it, but, oh, that's probably a weird thing to type. I'm looking for, I'm looking for a thingy's fucking page. Has he tweeted recently? This is such a weird thing to be looking for. His name's like D1, is it D1? Yes, it is Luke, awesome. So he tweeted, I think a couple days ago, and he said that his pet peeve is that when people say things like, I need him to score first before I can consider him. And he's like, but the whole point is just to bring people in before they score. And that's one of the things that he hates about fantasy managers when they tweet it like, oh, I can't really get him unless they perform well. The whole point is to jump on them before they perform well. I can't find his tweet. Maybe he deleted it. Maybe he doesn't believe in it. Maybe I'm lying to you. I could be lying to you. Nah, he definitely said it because I was like, yes, like, I agree. Like, it's a punt, kind of, but it's not that. Oh, yes, found it. Fucking yes, fucking knew it. My pet peeve, though, I'll admit, is people saying they're waiting for a player to score a return before considering them. He's actually said with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exclamation marks. Surely getting them before that is what the game is all about. Anyway, back in my hole. I don't know what hole he's talking about. I hope he just means cave. But regardless, that's what he said. And then he said he's keeping Vardy because a player doesn't have to have scored or have decent stats in the last 4 for me to consider them. The fixtures are great and can bring form. He and Leicester have been overperforming and now they are underperforming. If it levels out, it still represents good value. Now that is keeping Vardy. So keeping Vardy and bringing Vardy on for me is where I'm at. I really like Luke as a manager. So if you don't follow him, you probably should. He's very good at this game. Liam says, catch you on Slack tomorrow. Thanks very much, buddy. EPL Irons, where did you find this information, Dave? What information are we talking about, Irons? Are we talking about the Tim Bayern thing? Are we talking about Tim Beyer? This guy. He is the guy who made this that I've been using for 2 years. And then he just tweeted this today. and it's very exciting because he's a very, very, very good stat guy that I like following loads. Colm says, Dunk is my Firmino this year. I keep on playing, expecting a return. Why do you think Rico is a better option for Game Week 27, or is it coin flip? I don't know. Let's ask Tim Beyer. Game weeks now. No, sorry. And then one, show Game Week 1. Who was it? Dunk plays for Brighton, and Rico plays for Bournemouth. They're playing Burnley away. Brighton are playing Sheffield United away. Tim Beyer says play Rico. There you go, mate. Easy peasy. Don't even think about it. On paper, better fixture. Hard to call. Burnley don't really like scoring. Wood is injured and Barnes is injured. They don't really have a striker that has been doing well. Where Sheffield United, they score a goal and then they sit back. And they do score most games. Sheffield United. So, there you go. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. So we went through the relegation things. We learned some rules. No defenders. Don't cheap out. And there will be goals, so there are some people worth going for. Son replacements. I didn't really go through that much, but my point is you kind of have to think about using that money wisely, more wisely than just I'll go for the next available person like Ali or Richarlison. I think like look harder, sell them. Get Barnes in, better fixtures than most people are considering, and then use the money elsewhere. That is possible to do that in 2 game weeks. You don't have to like go nuts and take hits and shit, but just, you could easily do that. And in my team, I'm just being boring. I'm just a boring old manager. Actually, you know what? I think bringing Vardy in is probably not as boring as because a lot of people are thinking about bringing him out and arguing whether they should be taking him out and stuff because of his thing. He's 36% owned. He's more owned than Ings. But I reckon that's going to go down a little bit more by the end of this game week, by the end of tomorrow. A lot of people wanting Jimenez in. And then that leaves me with a good maybe 30% owned to bring him back in for almost as cheap as what I sold him for. I think I actually did get 9.7 off of him, or 9.6. I'm quite proud of that. That's pretty good. And that means I get to keep Aguero for the double. So we've been streaming for about an hour. Are there anything that you guys want me to go through that I haven't went through yet? Because I don't mind if you want to just send your questions in just now. I'm going to be hosting, just while you guys are writing your questions, I'm going to be hosting next week's Fantasy Weekly. James is on holiday. If you didn't listen to the podcast, he is going on holiday, and we're going to have a guest on to take my place while I'm taking James's place. Now, I know I couldn't replace James, but I definitely know whoever is coming on can absolutely replace me. Because all I do is giggle and make shit jokes. So it should be a really good one. My second time producing. I'm very excited about that. And we're also going to have a guest on the stream next week. It's probably going to be Holly. It's Holly. It's going to be Holly. So we're going to have her on in James's place doing the Monday after. However, it's my birthday on Monday. So I don't think I'm going to be streaming Monday. I think I'm going to go out for dinner. So the stream next week will be on Tuesday. We'll do all the same stuff as Monday. It'll feel kind of Monday-ish, but it'll be Tuesday. Hope that's okay, lads. And then we've got the Tuesday. So we've got the Tuesday stream. We've got Wednesday when the pod hits, and then Thursday stream as usual. And obviously, like I said, the Slack is going to go live on Sunday, and I'll be tweeting about that. And also, I'm going to talk to Flapjack and find out when we are announcing what we're going to be announcing. But I can't tell you guys anything else. But it's awesome. It's going to be fucking awesome. And there's some people in that you wouldn't believe that are going to be on the stream. It's like, if he says yes, well, you said maybe. If he says yes, then oh my fucking god, mate. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, very excited. It's going to be good. Jamie says, might have missed this bit, but you got a Slack channel going on now, Dave? Yes, Jamie, I've got a Slack channel. It's going on Sunday, and I'll invite you guys. I think I might make it DM only, just for now, so I can vet people who are coming in, people that come to the stream, people that regularly chat to, because that makes a difference, me knowing that you're a sound guy, because if you're not sound, and you're a dickhead and I bring you in, you could just throw the whole thing off. So don't be a dickhead is a good rule of thumb. Flapjack here saying, yes, it is. It is very exciting, Flapjack. I can't wait. Maybe I'll bring you on next week and we can talk about it. That might be fun. We'll find out. I'll figure it out. Jamie says I'm fucked. Nah, you're a good guy, Jamie. I believe you. I think he means me. That's funny. FPL Lieutenant, thoughts on buying Leicester attackers before City versus after City? I think Vardy, we all know what Vardy can do. And I think that City are the perfect team for him to try and do it. I'm concerned about most of the other players, though. I definitely wouldn't bring in any defenders because I wouldn't want to play them. You know you're going to get scored into. There's no point. I wouldn't mind playing Barnes, but I'd probably just play Moy over him. Like, for me right now, if I had this team going in next week, I would play Moy instead of Barnes. I wouldn't bench Vardy, though. I would just play him because the amount of times that he's scored when people have been like, oh, you know, he's playing a hard team, especially in this little run that they did, you know, he scored against everyone. So, and then one more goal against Man City before the big drought. So he scored against Man City already this season. He's going to be playing them at home. It's not that hard of a game for him. And like Ben Dinnery said on the podcast, like if he just keeps running, he can run as much as he wants. He'll eventually hit off something and it will go in. And then 2 days later, after Ben said that on the podcast, the manager of Leicester came out and said that as well. So it's possible. Like, I would just play him. But I probably wouldn't bring anyone in unless I was okay with benching them, is my point. So I wouldn't mind bringing Barnes in for Hayden right now, because I could just play Moy. So I wouldn't mind that because he actually has a decent fixture. Or Williams even, because he has a good fixture as well. So yeah. Dave, you should go on Instagram. Ben said something about Storm Dennis and plastic bags, didn't he? Yeah, he said he could chase a plastic bag and Storm Dennis, which is a belter. It's an absolute belter. I'll leave the Slack now then, Dave. No worries, mate. Oh no, Irons, you're good. It's good. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm like checking it all the time and shit. It's really, really interesting. And I wouldn't have found out about this Tim Bayer thing today if I didn't have Slack. So it's really, really useful. Calm says he nearly got kicked off it. He's on his best behavior now. You just Calm decided to do like 6 polls, one after the other, regarding jokes. And then one of the jokes was, is David a dictator or some shit? And then made a fucking another poll. And I was like, what, mate? Stop it. But I love you, really. I know you were pissed. You were on a night out, so it's all good. And we've all done that kind of thing. I want to send me your team, but I ain't on Twitter. Daffs, are you on Slack? Because you could be on the Slack and you could send your team on that. Or you could link your team right now and I could have a look at it off stream. What is Slack? Slack is kind of like Discord, or if you don't know what that means, then maybe like WhatsApp, but it has different, everyone's in the same WhatsApp and they can, everyone sees like the same channels, and instead of going and talking to different people, you're talking to everyone, but the chat shows differently in each channel. And you can put channels like GW27 channel, just chat and shite channel, and yeah, you join channels and you say, hey, I've got this team, what do you think? Or I'm looking for this player comparison, etc., etc. So it's just like a place to hang out. Why not do Discord? Because Slack is better. I can make a bot on this, and I can moderate it a bit better. And also, I can't get onto Discord. This is the main reason. I can't get onto Discord at work, but I can use Slack. Because the IT don't like Discord. I seen a thing, actually. It was like the BBC or whatever. Someone posted saying like terrorists. Current terrorist threats, and Discord was on one as one of them. Terrorists like talking through Discord. So yeah, so I'm not allowed to do that. It's a private, smaller Twitter. Perfect example. Yes, it's a private Twitter. So anyway, that's the stream. I might do a little after stream chess. I'm kind of wanting to play chess. And you're welcome to join me. Welcome to watch me just absolutely ruin my rank yet again. But for now, thanks very much for watching, guys. Nice chilled out. I'm glad to be here and chatting to you guys again. Just on my little Todd. And I've got loads of shit happening next week, so I'll see you then. And for those that are sticking about live or here live, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the interactions and the Slack stuff, and even on Twitter or on the stream or whatever. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys, so fucking keep doing that shit because I love it and I read everything all the time. So yeah, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.